What's going on, fellas? So, question of the day. What separates confident men from men who are insecure, weak, and distracted? See, something that I always say is that life as a man is hard, and we can all agree. But the beautiful thing about being a man is every single day you wake up in the morning, you have a choice. You have a choice to build your life. You have a choice to either be a slave or a king. And it's all up to you, G. But if you ask the question, what's the difference between confident, masculine, and dominant men and weak, insecure men who have no direction in life, it's not all about what confident men do. Most times it's about what they don't do. So today, as your big brother, I'm going to give you 10 things that confident, attractive, and masculine men do not do. As a matter of fact, things that they never do. These are rules. These are laws that you must follow as a man. And if you don't, there will be repercussions and consequences. Results and outcomes that you will one day regret. Trust me, G, I've met many men that get up to a certain age and they end up regretting not being the man that they're supposed to be. I.e., not making the decisions that they're supposed to make or making the wrong decisions. Let's start off with the biggest trap that a lot of men fall into. All right. And if you pay attention to life, you will see a lot of great men, even successful men, a lot of well-known men that fall into this trap. Weak men, men who are distracted, remain a slave to pleasure for the rest of their lives, G. Just take Paris from Troy, for example. Probably in the top 3 people who I hate the most. And the problem that Paris had is no matter what the fuck was going on, he was always chasing a woman. And I think I'm going to talk about Paris a lot in this video because Paris is a representation of a lot of men today. Distracted by women, distracted by lust. No matter what the fuck is going on in their life, like I said, no matter if they have to work, no matter if they're behind in life, regardless if their life is in total shambles, these type of men chase women. Fellas, I'm going to tell you this. To be honest with you, at some point, you got to ignore women. The reason why I say this is a trap, because if you look around the world is filled with pleasure. It's filled with dopamine. It's filled with distractions. And I'm not just talking about women. I'm talking about everything around you that doesn't make you a better man. It's usually pleasure. It usually makes you feel good for short term. And that's the fucking problem Paris bitch ass had. He felt like every city their family went to, he had to bag a bitch. Not realizing and being oblivious to the fact that the whole purpose for going to these cities was to capture the damn land. And a lot of men today got this same problem. Some guys even go to work, to their job, a place where their main goal and only goal for that matter should be making money. And then they turn around and want to know how to get a chick that's flirting with them at the office. I'm like, gee, where is your focus? All right, fellas. So if you are a slave to pleasure, guys, and the reason why I want to start the video off with this, like I said, this is the biggest trap. This is most men's downfall. All right, fellas. So how do you get rid of pleasure? How do you become a more confident man? You got to be deliberate about this shit. Whatever your vice is, whatever your pleasure is, whatever you get a kick out of that you know is not right for you. Maybe it's drugs, social media, video games, women, whatever it is. All right, G? I'm not telling you to absolutely abstain from pleasure. Why? Because pleasure is part of life. But as a man, G, you gotta earn this shit. You shouldn't be a slave to this. Like I said, every single day you got the decision. You can make the decision to either be what? A slave or a king. Kings don't follow pleasure. Kings follow purpose. Kings don't follow distractions. Kings follow duty. Now, I'm gonna give you another trap. Now, the first trap, pleasure and lust, 50% of that has to do with you. And you following your temptations. And this is going to definitely lower your confidence. If you want to be confident, you have to learn how to fight temptations. So 50% of that is you. The other 50% is the world throwing this stuff in your face. But this trap right here is a trap that you put yourself into. All right, fellas? Next one is talking too damn much. Rule of power, my G. Always say less than necessary. Just like many men have failed and destroyed themselves from lust and chasing their pleasures, there's a large contingent amount of men, great men even, who have failed, destroyed themselves from talking too damn much. There's no coincidence why this is one of the 48 laws of power. Out of all the rules in the world, there have been 48 of them that have been narrowed down. And this is one of them. Always say less than necessary. And I'll give you a perfect reason why. One, because when you talk too much, you exploit yourself. You give people too much information that they either, one, not deserve, or two, that person can one day use that information against you. All right, G, the reason why a lot of men lack confidence in relationships with women is because you talk too much. What's one of the problems of talking too much? You lose your frame. You lose your mystery. You lose the intrigue. Now, this is not to say that you won't still be confident, but it makes you less attractive when you're running your damn mouth all the time. And to be honest, if you're really confident in yourself, you really don't got to talk that much. Your actions, your accomplishments, who you are, your aura speaks for itself. Not saying you should be a mute and you shouldn't talk, but you got to be very strategical, very methodical with your words as a man, because like I said, G, if you look in history, there are men, great men, who have fallen by the tongue, i.e. talking too damn much. So there's a perfect place and a perfect time for everything. So we always say the loudest man in the room is usually the weakest. That's case by case, because sometimes you got to talk your shit. But if you notice, real confident men rarely speak. And when they do speak, their words matter. And that's the caveat to it. That's the trick about it. The less you speak, the more your words matter when you actually do speak. Like I said, not saying you should walk around quiet and timid, but some things are better left unsaid. Keep that in the back of your head, all right? Now, next thing that confident and masculine men never do is put women above their purpose. Now, a lot of you men know this story. The story of Samson. And if you don't know who Samson is a well-known iconic figure in the Bible. And Samson was a very strong, masculine, dominant man. And Samson was also a leader. But just like most men, Samson fell by the sword of his pleasures. Women. All right, there was a beautiful woman named Delilah. And Delilah not only had a thing for Samson, but she also had plans and motives to destroy Samson. So what Delilah decided to do was invite Samson over to her crib. Now, there are many depictions of the story, but I'm telling you the one that I know. So one day, like on a Wednesday, she invited Samson over to the crib. So Samson came over, they had a couple drinks and some biscuits and shit. And Samson fell asleep at like 9 o'clock. Now, who knows why he fell asleep so early? Maybe she put some in his drink. But while Samson was asleep, Delilah decided to do something like most ratchet women do today. And that's rob your ass. Now, she ain't take none of his money or anything like that, because I don't think back in the day they really had cash sitting on them like that. But what she decided to do was cut Samson's hair while he was asleep. Now, what's the unique thing about Samson's hair? Most of you guys know. Samson's hair was a source of his strength. Samson made a vow and a pact with God not to cut off his hair, amongst some other things he promised to God. All right, fellas? Now, since you know that and you got that history lesson, when you put women above your purpose, that always will lead to death. Samson had a calling. Samson had a purpose. As I said, Samson is one of the most iconic figures. But Samson would have been a much greater figure, I believe, if he wouldn't have not put women above his purpose. He wasn't supposed to be fucking with Delilah anyway. I think she had a dude. All right, fellas, but you understand what I'm saying. Samson is one of many examples of men who have literally almost killed themselves or destroyed their lives or ruined their career or messed up a whole bunch of shit from putting women above their purpose. And it doesn't even have to get that drastic. It can be a slow fall. It can be you giving up things like the gym every now and then. You eating extra snacks here and there. You missing work for this chick. You spending money you don't have. All these things wrap up in a fucking ball of you putting women before your purpose. Now, this is the downside of this. Usually when you put women above your purpose, is because you're blue pill. What's the definition of blue pill? You don't know what the fuck is going on. All right, now this is the downside. Like I said, one day you wake up and you come to your senses, and now you pissed off, and now you done lost confidence because you done wasted years, months, however long, putting women above your purpose. And not only have you wasted years, but you probably also wasted opportunities, energy, money, a bunch of dumb shit. All right, fellas? So purpose always comes first. I don't think I have to tell you guys that, but some guys sitting in the back with the cone hats need a reminder. Purpose comes first. Women and everything else comes next. Because without purpose, women don't exist. To be honest with you. Alright, G? Alright, so guys, there's a success rule that I learned about 5 years ago. And that rule is people don't applaud for you until you actually don't need it. And here's another trap that men fall into that makes you lose your masculinity and your confidence. And that's looking for validation. So this is what weak men do. Weak men, feminized men, they live for likes and applause. Like I said, as a man, you got to understand, you start from a rough foundation. Most men have a brutal beginning. Nobody knows you. Nobody cares about you. Nobody gives a shit really if you live or die. That's the life of a man as a young man. See, as a young woman, everybody loves you. Everybody treats you like a princess. Why? Because you're delicate, you're beautiful. Even ugly little girls get treated nice. All right, G? So that's the truth of life. So you got to understand, as a man, you have to earn likes. You have to earn applause. You have to earn validation. You have to earn recognition. How does this make you more confident when you earn it? Because you worked for it. See, there's a difference between getting something for free and working for it. That's why I have a rule about anything I either invest in or I buy. Don't be cheap, because you get back whatever you put in. So if you put in nothing and you're looking for likes and applauses, even if you get it, it's not going to make you more confident because you haven't earned it. And here's the caveat about it. When you've earned validation, when you've earned power, when you've earned recognition, once you get the applause, once you get the love, once you get the likes, you don't even want it at that point. At that point, it's annoying to you. You just want people to get out your face so you can do you. I guarantee you. But the reason why a lot of you guys fiend for attention is because you got this feminine bone in your body that's telling you that everybody got to like you and everybody got to see you and you got to be the center of attention. And every time you post something on social media, people got to fucking like it and people got to clap for you. Gee, as a man, if people are not clapping for you, that means you haven't earned it yet. You don't deserve anything in life but what you work for. And once you work for it and once you've earned it and you get it, your confidence or lack thereof will not be a problem. Guarantee you. All right? So what's the sickness that's killing men? The need for instant gratification. The need to be seen. The need to be loved. The need to be appreciated. The only thing you should aim for in this life as a man, and the only thing that's guaranteed that will stick like glue once you get it, is respect. And how do you get respect? You gotta earn it. Simple as that. It's the only way around it. Life is not easy for a man. It's very hard. And I'll give you another trap. And I'm halfway there, fellas. We got more. I ain't even get juicy yet. All right? Weak men have this expectation that they should live life on easy mode. All right. Now, this one actually was going to be the first point because I told myself that this was the biggest trap, but I think it's the second biggest trap. And let me tell you why it's so severe. The outside world is trying to tell men that every flaw that they have, every deficiency that they have is not their fault. And they should cope with it and be okay with it. And life is supposed to be easy. And they deserve everything. And everybody's supposed to have a fucking trophy. And as a man, you're not supposed to get your ass up early in the morning and work until your fucking hands bleed. The true essence of masculinity is doing shit that you don't want to do. And not only doing shit that you don't want to do, but doing hard shit that you don't want to do. If you want to know one of the easiest ways to boost your confidence and make you feel more masculine is do hard shit. This is why I'm always recommending men to learn how to fight. It's not because I want you walking around punching people in the face. It's not even because I want you to be intimidating. Yes, there's some results you're going to get from it, and it is some benefits that's going to work out well for you in today's world. But the biggest thing about this is fighting is hard. It's not easy. The dude that's standing in front of you, you don't know what the fuck is going on in his mind. He may be pissed off to the point where he want to kill you that day, and you got to defend yourself. It's hard when you sick, but you still gotta fight. You still gotta protect your life. That's hard as shit, all right, fellas? So you gotta do hard shit, whatever hard is to you, fellas, but you can't run from difficult things. You can't wake up in the morning and expect life to be easy. You know how I know most men expect life to be easy? Because when you wake up in the morning, you got a choice whether to go work out or not. And when you make the decision to not work out, that's you telling yourself and you telling the world that life is supposed to be easy, because you still want the same results that the men who get up early in the morning and work out, you still want the same results they get. You still want the same results as the men who work hard as fuck all day, all night, no rest, no sleep, no days off. You want the same results with women, you want the same results financially, and you want the same results physically with your body without doing the hard shit. It doesn't make sense. So what you got to stop doing is trying to live life on easy mode. By default, life is hard as a man, so you can't get around that. And even as you move up in life, and the crazy thing is, the more you move up in life, the higher you set the difficulty level to, the harder it's gonna be. If you want to get the most points on Call of Duty, you gotta play on veteran. I think that's what it is, G. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if you just want to play and not really rack up points, play on fucking rookie, G. You got the decision to either be a slave or a king. A life for a king isn't easy until he actually get his fucking crown. Then he get to sit back, but he's still stressed as fuck. Because now instead of doing hard things, he got to make hard decisions. So life is always and will remain hard for a man. You cannot run from it, G. All right? I'm cooking, man. Let's keep going. Alright, G, so speaking of Call of Duty, I found something out. There are only about 8 to 10, and I believe it's probably lower than that. I think 8 to 10% is generous. But there are about, let's say, 6% of people who actually finish video games. So any video game you could think of, 2K, Call of Duty, Fortnite, whatever the fuck you play. There are only about 6% of people who actually finish the game to the end, to its entirety. Now, it's no coincidence that there are only about 8 to 10% of people, that's still generous, so let's say 6% of people in the world who are actually successful and living a fulfilled life. All right, G, and the reason why, and the biggest problem, G, is that most people, that other 94%, guys, most people lack consistency. All right, my G? Most people will start a fucking game and they'll be excited as fuck. And in their head, they think they go finish it. Just like most things in life. Just like the gym. Just like a business. But what happens between them starting and them stopping? A lot of people get distracted. A lot of people see something else that's shinier and then want to focus on that. Some people stop because it's too hard. Some people lose interest because they need motivation and inspiration throughout the whole fucking journey, because they can't just stay locked and focused on what they doing and use their own internal motivation and internal dialogue to talk themselves and use their own mental fortitude to convince themselves to do what they need to do. There's a plethora of reasons. All right. Now, I'll tell you one of the main reasons is a lot of men lack consistency is because they feel like they don't have any support. They feel like somebody has to be coaching them, like I said, and inspiring them to do something. Fellas, there's something that's called self-inspiration and self-motivation and self-talk and internal dialogue. You can't always depend on somebody else to tell you what the fuck you need to do. And even if they tell you what you need to do, G, I'm telling you this as your brother, pay attention. And even if they tell you what you need to do, they shouldn't have to follow you and hold your hand every step of the way. Sometimes people gotta let you go. The point of coaching, the point of mentoring, the point of any coaching, the point of any motivation, any inspiration, anything that will make you better is to get you to the point to where you no longer need that learning and you can go and teach somebody else. All right. But leading to my next point, one of the things that's gonna really drop your confidence is having this fear and being terrified of being by your damn self. As a woman, I don't have the experience of being one, but I've been with quite a few of them. And I can understand why they don't want to be alone. It's a security thing. It's primal. You leave a woman by herself, any fucking thing can happen, fellas. She can do some dumb shit to herself. So I understand. But as a man, you gotta get to the point. I'm not saying become a loner and an incel and you don't have any friends or no network. But there are times where you gotta sit by yourself for at least a few hours, G. Get some focus. Sit by yourself and be bored. Being alone, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm gonna speak for myself. Being alone is one of the main things that raises my confidence because I get that time to think for my fucking self. So if I have a thought and then I have a conflicting thought simultaneously, I can stop that conflicting thought and not have any outside voices and focus on the positivity. But when you going through your day-to-day life and you always around people, every time you have a negative thought, there's always something in the outside world to validate that negative thought, so you can't even go back positive. All right, fellas, I'm cooking, G. Pay attention. So learn how to be alone. You will figure the fuck out who you are when you're alone. And what this is going to do is going to raise your confidence and naturally raise your masculinity. Why? Because you're a fucking man. You're supposed to be masculine. There shouldn't be a fucking hack to you being masculine. Just wake up in the morning and do what the fuck you need to do. Guarantee you're going to feel more like a man. But you trying to figure out all these fucking secrets. It's not that fucking hard. You don't need to do more shit. Just stop doing dumb shit. Next one. Y'all can tell I got kids, huh? Man. Alright, so. Talk about distractions. I had a guy who sent me a DM on Instagram. And he asked me, he said, KD, bro, can you make a video and do a reaction on one of the balloon pop challenges? I was like, gee, do you even watch my content, bro? Do you even see what the hell I talk about every day? Do you think I have time, energy, or the mental capacity to even consider reacting to that degenerate shit? And I ain't gonna lie, I considered it, fellas, but then I thought, yeah, it might be funny. Yeah, it might be interesting. Yeah, it may get a lot of clicks. But what would I be doing to my guys by putting that distraction in front of your face in the middle of the damn week while you need to be on your purpose? I'm trying to eradicate that shit. All right, fellas, so men who live in distractions. It's no wonder why most men lack confidence today. Why? Most men engulfed in social media, TikTok videos, trying to figure out what the fuck I think about somebody popping a fucking balloon. Gee, these people that you watching on social media, these people are no smarter than you. 9 times out of 10, they dumber than you. They have nothing going on with their life. See, if you're going to watch entertainment, gee, at least watch some shit you can be inspired by. But these distractions, my G, I don't care what you say. You can be mad at me all you want. This is what's killing you. I don't understand how you can watch a video like this and then 5 minutes later go to Instagram and then start scrolling and looking at girls on your feed. How do you do that? How do you just transition your mind from focus to dumb shit? I don't get it. At least be locked in for a few more hours. But some of you guys lack focus so much that you can't even keep the screws tight for a few minutes. All right, guys? So you cannot live in distractions. The top men you see, whoever you look up to, they are not engulfed in distractions. They're not watching other people live their lives. They're not consumers. They're producers. All right. So like I said, always, you need to go from what? A consumer to a producer. I'm not talking about producing content. I'm talking about being productive in your life, stacking up wins. What builds confidence? Wins. Multiple wins. All right, G? But every time you get distracted, you're accumulating losses because the time you're spending in distractions, you can be spending that time grinding, becoming a version of yourself that you're proud of, that when you look in the mirror, you have no doubt in your mind that you're that guy, and other people will agree. All right? Now, fellas, I don't know if earlier you remember I was talking about your boy Paris. All right, and I recommend you guys go watch that movie, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. And Paris, bitch ass, is a great depiction of what not to be, and the opposite of a confident and attractive man. Now, we all know that Paris had a problem with chasing women. All right? I think her name was Helen, right? She was bad, I ain't gonna lie. Blue-eyed, blonde, she was bad. But you don't put women over your purpose. Another problem that Paris had is that when it was time to actually fight for this chick, now I'm not saying you should fight for women, but it was cold back in the G where you had to duel for a chick. All right? But when it came down to the duel, Paris did something that's a cardinal sin in bro code. And what Paris did is he folded under pressure. All right, I don't know if you guys remember the battle. I think that was Menelaus. Paris had to fight Menelaus. And it got to a certain point where Paris was losing the fight. Now I give Paris credit. He stepped up. But at a certain point he started losing the fight, so he ran to his brother. And Hector had to come pull him out of it. All right, G, a lot of men talk that shit. But what's going to make you a more masculine man, and this is why I tell you guys, go hop in the boxing ring, go get in the cage, go spar with somebody, get hit in the mouth. It's going to alleviate a lot of your fears. So when you get in pressure situations, don't matter what it is. It could be approaching a chick. You okay with making a damn move. You won't fold and overthink and overcompensate and overanalyze when it's time for you to execute. All right, fellas, a lot of men love to talk, but you can't execute. Preparation is great. Planning is great. Being ready is also great. But when it's time to work, when it's time to put in work, when it's time to step up and do what you got to do when the heat turns up, you got to be ready and you can't fold. Because every time you fold, every time you run, lower your confidence level and internally you feel like more of a bitch. And the thing about it is other people look at you the same way. I don't know if y'all saw how different Helen acted towards Paris after she saw him run from Menelaus. All right, G, it changes a lot of shit. So first rule, you never run from a fight unless it logically makes sense to walk away because you're trying to save somebody or save your life. But in those days, he was a bitch for running. And that's what a lot of you guys do today. Like I said, a lot of men are like Paris, a clear mirror. All right? So instead of being like Paris, you need to be like my boy Achilles. Oh, shit, you can be like Hector. Hector was a G2. Hector didn't run from a fight. Hector protected his family. Hector was just the ops. Now, last thing that confident men and masculine men never do is want or look for sympathy. All right? First rule, always take full responsibility for everything in your life. So you shouldn't blame people. Because the reason why men blame, the reason why you blame is because you want sympathy. Because you know deep down in your heart that everything in your life is your fault. You know that. You've been told that if you play sports, if you were in the military, if you did anything masculine in your childhood, which most men have played sports, anything like that. And if you haven't, you should know now that you should take full responsibility for everything. But the reason why men blame is because they want sympathy. They want to say, woe is me, so people can say, oh, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. And you know where this stems from? I'm going to be honest because you know I don't sugarcoat shit. This stems from single motherhood. This stems from this feminized world that we lived in. Because when you grow up with just your mom, she gonna baby you every time you hit your knee. Especially if you're a boy. But when you raised by a man, you usually get no sympathy. Especially if it's a dominant and assertive man. Gee, my kids get no sympathy at all from me. Sometimes you would think I don't love my kids, how much sympathy I don't give them. But the reason why I don't sympathize with them every time they hit their knee or they fall or something small happen to them is because I want them to be strong. I don't want them growing up every time they fall, they looking around for help. No, G, you handle it. Unless you're dying, unless you're bleeding to death, unless it's a fatal accident. Figure it the fuck out. Stop looking for people to feel bad for you. Because at the end of the day, the honest to God truth that you got to swallow, the red pill that you got to swallow, is that nobody really gives a fuck. Nobody feels bad for you. All right. So if nobody else feels bad for you, why you feel bad? Why you feel sorry for yourself? And it makes no difference anyway. It's not going to change anything you feel sorry for yourself. Because you feel sorry for yourself, nobody's going to look at you and then feel more sorry for you. It's not going to happen. Actually, they're going to lose respect for you. Why? Because you're a man. Unfortunately, people don't care as much about men as they do about women. That's how the world's built. But the thing about it, like I said, unlike a woman, every day, every single day, you get the opportunity and you have the choice to either be what? A slave or a king. And the choice is up to you. All right, guys? So I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Don't forget to go grab the Dangerous Man ebook. It's in the description. And make sure that you share this video with a homeboy who needs this. All right, fellas? It's your boy KD. We out here, baby.